Negaim Perek Yud Gimel Mishnah Hey, fifth Mishnah in the 13th chapter of Masechet Negaim. Another short Mishnah. What happens when you have a musgar? Musgar means a quarantined house. You had tzarad in the house and you removed the offending brick or the offending stone, and now you have to wait and see if it spreads. Because if it spreads, if the tzarad returns, then you got to destroy the house. But what you did was haboneh min hamusgar bitahur. While that house is in quarantine, you're like, I'm not waiting to find out if the house is going to be destroyed. I take stones from the quarantined house and I transfer them and I build it into a tahor house. This is bar tenura. After you remove the offending stone, the infected stone, and you scraped out and you smeared, you gave it a week. During the week of quarantine, you took from that house stones, and you use them as building material for another house. So, and that's not a good idea, as we're going to see in a minute. Why? And now the tzarat returned to that house. So what's the din of the house? You have to destroy that house, and all the rocks of the house are the tameh. So now what happens to the stones that you use from that house and you move to the other house? Says the Mishnah, sorry, you lose. You have to remove the rocks, the stones, that you took from that house. You have to remove them from the second house, from the new house. They are tameh, like the tumah of the house from which you took those stones. Okay, and so that's not a good idea. You probably shouldn't take from your quarantine house because you could end up having to remove those stones later. Now, chazar al ha'avanim. Remember that tzarad from the house A, you took rocks and put it in house B. You took those rocks and you put them in house B. Sorry about that. So now those rocks are still part of house A and house B. Now, chazar levanim, if the spread of the tzarad is to that rock, okay, the rock from house A, it's now in the other house. Now you have double trouble. Habayit harishon yinatet. That's considered spread to the original house because that's a stone from house A, even though it's now sitting in house B. So therefore, the first house has to be destroyed because it's a spread of its tzarad. What about the second house? Va'avanim, you can't remove them and say, okay, that's from house A, so I have to remove it, and then house B is fine. No. Va'avanim ishamshu et habayit hasheni b'simanim. They will serve the second house b'simanim, i.e. simanim of the signs of tzarad. It says the bar tenura, habayit hamusgar yinatet. The quarantine house you have destroyed, as if the stone from house A is still in house A. V'hani avanim nami ba'onitis. You have to destroy that rock also. Rather, shemamti lahem. You have to wait. Achi shamshu habayit sheni b'simanim. You have to use them. You have to, relate to them b'simanim as a sign. The ta'on hesker. The second house now, it's double trouble. The second house now requires quarantine. V'dino l'chol davar. And you have to treat the second house as if it's original tzarad. So it's not a good idea to transfer stones from a quarantine house to a new house. We'll stop here. Dedicate our learning to memory of my father, Rav Simcha ben Yitzchak Kalman. Make it a great day.